Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about issue that has come into news recently where both Indian and Chinese forces or Indian and Chinese military we can say have decided to disengage from an area of conflict in the eastern Ladakh. The area is known by the name of Patrolling Point 15 or PP-15. So in this particular video, we are going to analyze that how this disengagement is going to affect the Indo-China relation, whether it is a step toward a peaceful transition of or peaceful settlement of border dispute, or whether it is going to whether it is not going to have a significant effect on the border tension. So let us first start and try to understand that what is the actual news. So recently both India and China have carried out confirmation, and the confirmation has been carried out by aerial surveillance, and both countries have confirmed that indeed the army or soldiers of both countries have withdrawn themselves from patrolling point 15 that is located in the Gogra hot spring area of eastern Ladakh. After the disengagement or after withdrawal, both the countries' army have returned to their respective bases. Both sides have completed disengagement at PP-15 in a very phased, coordinated, and verified manner. However, as far as the details and modalities of the disengagement are concerned, it is still not available to us. So where basically this PP-15 is located. So if you look at this map of eastern Ladakh, this we can say is the area that is known by Gogra, and on the northern side we have Hot Spring, and this is the point which is called as patrolling point 15. Basically, if you look at all these red line from north to south, which separates the Pakistan China occupied region of Aksai Chin, and here we have the Pakistan occupied Kashmir on this side, and terminating somewhere near Siachen Glacier in the Karakoram range, we have a chain or series of patrolling points that both armies have established to make sure that no one is able to carry out incursion across each other's border. So basically, we have some very other important points that were also a area of flare up and tension since 2020. Is we have Pangong So Lake that is slightly situated to the south of this hot spring area, and the other most important region where both troops have clashed and that has also resulted into huge number of casualty was the Galwan Valley region, which is the patrolling point 14. So PP-15 sits somewhere between the Galwan Valley in the north and the Pangong So Lake region in the south. So let us try to understand that how this whole conflict has developed in past 2 years. So basically, the conflict or standoff in this whole region of eastern Ladakh, including hot spring region, PP-15 region, has been going on since the April-May month of year 2020, and it was during this time the Chinese forces were preventing Indian forces to patrol the border, to carry out their patrolling activities, and that also has been reported by Indian forces that Chinese were trying to enter into what is considered as Indian territory as per the line of actual control. Not only that, we have this disengagement is not the first disengagement. Before that also disengagement has been carried out in the Galwan Valley region in year 2020, and further last year the disengagement was also carried out in the Pangong So region. So this disengagement in the Gogra Hot Spring region is the third consecutive steps taken by both the countries. The problem that Indian army is facing in the whole region is that Chinese troops every now and then are blocking Indian troops from patrolling up to their claim line, and this is basically giving rise to more and more tension, more and more stress in the border region. Now, what India has said about this, that between both countries, a confidence building measure called as Treaty on Military CBM has been signed in year 1996. And there are very three important points in this confidence building measure. The first of all is that both countries have agreed that they will avoid holding large scale military exercises involving more than one division. In one division, there are a maximum of 15,000 troops. So any massing of troops that is higher than 15,000 have to be avoided. However, if you look at the Chinese strength, Chinese military strength, they have amassed almost 50,000 troops across the eastern border of India. So this is the first violation. Second is that both countries had agreed that if any country is amassing more than 5,000 troops, either for military exercises or for any purposes, they will have to notify prior to the other countries and also tell them that what is the type and the duration of such military exercises for which more than 5,000 troops have been amassed. This is something also that was not done by China, and they simply started to build up their troops across the eastern border of Ladakh. The third and the most important Article 4 of this treaty that clearly says that both countries will restrict the use of firearms even if there is a face-off. So this is something that has been respected. However, there was reported incidents of firing of weapons in the 2020 standoff. However, largely whenever there was a standoff or face-off between Indian and Chinese military, even in the Galan Valley area, basically from the videos that came from that region, we can see that both military were trying to scare each other or try to fight each other with sticks, batons, and stones and such items. So the use of firearms have been avoided, and it has been basically followed by both the countries. However, these two articles or these two, we can say, agreement of the confidence building nature have been violated by China as per the India. So how India has reacted to this PP-15 disengagement? So for that, we have to understand the statement that was given by the MEA spokesperson. He has said that both countries will take up remaining issues along the line of actual control once the PP-15 disengagement is complete. So maybe in future or in recent future, near future, both countries might again meet with each other. Representative of both countries at the military level, at the government level, can meet each other and try to settle the issues or tackle the issues at the LAC. Second, India also maintains that despite this disengagement, there are two other friction points. One is the Demchok area, that is a plain area, and second is the Depsang plain area. The friction point still remains, and Chinese still have not fully withdrawn from these areas. However, the Ministry of External Affairs Minister of India, Mr. S. Jayasankar, has categorically stated that there can be no normalization of relation between India and China unless the 2020 clock is turned back. So basically, what India is demanding, that on the eastern border near the Aksai Chin and Ladakh, the both armies should fall back to a status quo ante, that is situation that was existing before April-May 2020, should be restored, should be normalized. So how Chinese have responded to this? So first of all, Beijing definitely have welcomed the disengagement at PP-15 and is seeing this as a positive development as per the spokesperson of External Affairs Ministry of China. However, as far as the point of disengagement and restoration of status quo ante is concerned, Chinese are not willing to accept India's demand. And the reason why China said that it is not willing to accept India's demand is because Chinese blame that it was the Indian military and it is the illegal crossing of India's military of the LAC that has triggered this massive buildup of Chinese military, Chinese forces, and that is why the status quo of April 2020, since it is created by India itself, India is to blame, not the China. So, which regions or which areas along the border of India, China, and Eastern Ladakh basically present a threat to India? So, if you look at this line of actual control, what we can say here is around this blue line is where we have very strategic regions such as the airfield that was reactivated by Indian Air Force in 2008, that is Daulat Beg Oldie. Then further, if you move toward north, we have Siachen, that is again a very strategic vantage point because Siachen is the region. On one side we have Pakistan, on the other side we have the China, and further we have the Karakoram Pass. So having a strong foothold in these regions is very vital for India to repel any kind of future attack or to thwart any kind of future attack either from Chinese or the Pakistani side. But the problem is that the current position or current location of Chinese military and the buildup of Chinese military that is going on very close to this border regions, and especially the Rakhi Nala that has been repeatedly the site of Chinese incursions. So any military buildup in this area threatens the India will threaten India in future if it want to access this region as well. The Chinese military are located somewhere about 250 kilometers from this Rakhi Nala issue. So that is something that India is very wary about. So whether the PP-15 disengagement should be considered as a glimmer of hope, many experts believe that the border dispute has been going on since a very long period of time, and it will remain disputed and militarized at least till in as far as the near future is concerned. The reason is very simple because both countries have signed a lot of confidence building measure. They have signed border defense cooperation agreement in 2013, and that is why there were a kind of trust that was existing between these military. However, the incursion or illegal incursion by the Chinese forces have caused a disruption of this trust. So it is not something abstract, but rather had been built carefully over a long period of time. And this is due to this reason that despite the disengagement at PP-15, the restoring of trust will not be so easy between these two countries. So what we can say in conclusion, we can say that though Chinese have disengaged from PP-15, there are a lot of areas that still remain a configuration point along Eastern Ladakh, and not only in the Eastern Ladakh, But also Chinese have started calling Arunachal Pradesh as South Tibet, and they have begun a series of build-up in the Tibet region and surrounding in the nearby Tibet region, where they have created billets for troops, new heliports have been constructed, even hardened facilities of air bases and all these have been constructed. So this basically does not give a good sign as far as the future is concerned, and we cannot fully trust China because their action is speak louder than the words. However, in response to this, India too has oriented its army northward and is also ramping up and building up its facilities in the Ladakh region. So by looking at the action of both the countries, what we can basically say that obviously the disengagement is a part of the process, but the danger of war between two regional superpowers of Asia remain there and will remain in the future unless and until the border dispute is completely resolved. So that is all about this particular issue. I hope you understood about the basic facts regarding the Gogora Hot Spring and PP-15 disengagement and its implications on the wider India-China relations. That is all for today. Thank you very much.